Hi everyone, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. I'm Mubina Kapasi. Markets have slipped into the red with more vigor. We are down by about 0.4% now for the Nifty. And as we speak, we're just about near the day's low, 11,974 for the Nifty. And the Sensex is at 40,639. So gash is seen on the indices this Friday morning. But the show is all about flagging off those individual movers and shakers. So let's get on with that. Joining us on the technicals is Amar Singh of Angel Broking. And we also have Pranay and Vivek from the research desk. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Let's kickstart the show then with what's come in from the RBI's policy outcome. Yes, we did have the whole, rate cut shock, status quo shocker that a lot of people have been talking about. But the RBI has also essentially laid down the guidelines for payment bank SFB license. And this is something that will impact a lot of these small finance companies as well. So payment banks willing to convert themselves into small finance banks can apply for such a license only after 5 years of operations, and which are, of course, have to be controlled by residents, are also eligible for conversion into small finance banks. Plus, of course, there are some legal and regulatory requirements as well of various authorities. So if they conform to all these guidelines, then they can apply to become a small finance bank. The minimum capital for setting up an SFB is mandated at around 200 crore rupees. So these guidelines have come out. Watch out for all of these, not just Spandana Spurti, but also for, and Ujjivan and Equitas, because there would perhaps be some more competition as well, for their small finance banks. So that's something that's worth watching out for. Moving on, Amar, it's time to talk a bit more on the metal stocks. Tata Steel, JSW Steel, all of them finally showing a bit of a recovery today in trade. Your view here?
Yeah, I would say that Tata Steel is positive from a short-term perspective. However, on the upside, what we are seeing is that somewhere it has resistance around 418, 420. Whereas support is seen around 390, so there is a possibility that we could see some pullback, but higher levels around 418, 420 would be a strong resistance for Tata Steel.
All right, so that's a strategy from Amar on a Tata Steel. And Vivek, keeping it with the metal space, after the whole Sarda bit, now once again another regulatory and a legal blow for JSPL.
Well, absolutely right, Mubina. So, the coal auction happened in the first week of November, and JSPL was the winner of the Gare Palma coal block. However, yesterday, the coal ministry actually put out a list of people or a list of companies that actually won coal blocks as far as the first week of November e-auctions were concerned. And very surprisingly and quite negatively impacted was JSPL, given the fact that their name didn't exist on that particular list. Now, the companies themselves are quite perplexed as to why their name isn't there. They are hopeful that there would be a second list and their name would be in that list. However, what we are understanding at this point of time is that this will have a significant amount of impact as far as JSPL's operations are concerned. Remember, cost savings are quite significant as far as this particular coal block is concerned, given the fact that it was quite proximate, and the proximity benefits were something that JSPL was seeing from this particular block. However, JSPL today too is taking it on the chin after a 10% fall yesterday. Today it saw a slight bit of green on the screen, but again that particular uptick has been sold into.
As it's down by about 1.7% in trade. Okay. I also do want to talk about an Equitas. Like we mentioned, the small finance bank bid has been released. So that is something that will impact this stock price. However, it's noteworthy that the stock has declined 2.4%. Let's move on and talk about an L&T. And Amar, what's your technical, observations over there?
I would say that L&T continues to remain negative in the short term, and even the long-term trend, I would say, is somewhat displaying some signs of weakness. And if you look at L&T in the last week of August, somewhere it had made a low of 1270, 74 zone. So 1270 should act as a very crucial support zone. Whereas on the upside, 1330, 1340 is a zone of resistance. So technically, the trend is negative, so higher levels will be sold into the stock, and one needs to watch out for 1270 as a crucial support zone for L&T.
Okay, so that's L&T for you. It's below 1300 rupees, and as we speak again at the day's low. Vivek, more brokerage recommendations on a Reliance Industries?
Well, a whole host of brokerage recommendations have come in as far as Reliance is concerned. Remember, all of this has to do with the fact that Jio has undertaken a price hike as far as most of its postpaid plans are concerned. And what Nomura today is saying is that they've upped the target price from 1785 to almost 2020. They believe that cash flows will improve. They believe that along these particular lines, Jio can see significant benefits. And a lot of analysts on the street actually believe that the Jio listing is something that could happen, and that could be another big trigger as far as the entire Reliance Industries as well as associate companies are concerned.
1548 for an RIL. Pranay, all cargo logistics, the buzz has been on for some time and now it's official, buying into Gati.
Well, yes, they'll be going for a controlling stake in Gati Mobina, and for that they'll be paying about 416 crores. Most of that transaction is going to be done at 75 rupees a piece, which is about 15% premium from yesterday's closing price. Today also it is doing nicely in trade. The management has said that it will add materially to their revenue, EBITDA and profits from next year. There will be synergies on the cost front as well. The transaction should close in about 45 odd days, and it's a very positive deal for them since it helps them foray in express logistics space, which is growing faster than their own segments.
Okay, that it is 2.3% higher, and Gati officially the news has been out. A controlling stake for a little over 400 crore rupees. Amar, what do you make of this massive fall seen in an NCC? Today is down by almost 5% in trade.
Yeah, I would say looking at NCC from a short-term as well as a long-term perspective continues to remain negative. Even on the monthly charts, it's quite negative. However, on the weekly charts, we did see some consolidation. But higher levels will be sold into, and it has now got some support coming at around 52 odd levels. Whereas on the upside, resistance is seen around 57 odd levels. So higher levels will be sold. So any pullback should be used as a shorting opportunity in this stock.
Pullback is a shorting opportunity. That's Amar's recommendation on an NCC. Let's talk about then what else brokerages are flagging off this morning. Goldman Sachs has a buy rating on tech major Tech Mahindra. They have their target price placed at 890 rupees per share, and they're reiterating their buy rating on Tech Mahindra. The telecom vertical, according to them, which is a bigger service area, a big client for Tech Mahindra, should see a sharp growth revival in FY21 and 22, and that in turn would aid Tech Mahindra as well. Goldman's own estimates are 6 to 12% ahead of consensus EBIT estimates, so that's important to note. The stock price has mostly been range bound between 762 and 770. Now it's absolutely flat with just a bit of green seen on the screen. So that's Tech Mahindra for you. And Pranay, RBL Bank, what's the final outcome of the QIP? How was the response?
Well, the response to QIP was good. The entire issue was slapped up, worth about 2,025 crore rupees at a price of about 351 on average. There were quite a few good investors and marquee names that participated. There was one small development also on Bajaj Finance where it participated in the QIP but had to withdraw from pref issue since there were some requirements which had to be done very quickly, and that was not possible for Bajaj Finance. And since the stock was actually trading higher throughout this QIP period, it has naturally declined and come close to those QIP price right now.
Well, you know what? We'll just have to take a quick break. But before we do that, here's a look at what the RWI small case is up to as the markets have slipped, especially in the last couple of minutes. A lot of stocks are off the day's high, as is the case with the RWI small case as well. It's down by about 0.22%. But folks, here's the most anticipated event of the year, and that's the India Economic Conclave. I hope you guys have marked your calendars for the 16th and 17th of December, because this time around the event's happening right here, the financial capital of India, Mumbai. Naseem Nicholas Talib, Geeta Gopinath, D. Subbarao are just some of the names who are going to be joining us on this all-important event. If you've not bought your tickets yet, what are you waiting for? Log on to www.indiaeconomicconclave.com. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. I would like to pull up the stock price of Vodafone Idea because speaking at an event was Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla, the chairman of the Aditya Birla Group, which owns Idea. And he has very categorically said, and I quote, "We will shut shop if we do not get relief. The Indian government needs to give more stimulus to boost the economy." Do remember that this is also, of course, in context that hefty AGR payment that the Supreme Court has asked Vodafone Idea and Airtel to cough up, which in turn has led to these companies having no choice but to halt on that extremely low, tariff regime that we were in the midst of since Jio had launched. And of course, at this point of time, they're asking for relief. But apart from that moratorium, there's really not been much that the government has announced for telecom companies. So Vodafone Idea, by the way, as we speak, is just declining further and further into the red. Let's address another stock, and that's Tata Motors. The company is in focus because we do have some more numbers that have been released in terms of sales for the month of November. And this time around, it is, I think, the JLR numbers for UK that have been released. Again, and unsurprisingly, things are looking a bit weak. But mind you, they're not that weak as compared to what we saw in the month gone by. So the revenues did, rev up because of rising JLR sales. But the question is that how is the road looking ahead? Management has been putting in all sorts of arduous efforts to steer JLR back on track, but I suppose many are cautious yet. Remember, they're looking for JV as well. By the way, the JLR outlook definitely does seem brighter now than a year ago. Wholesales monthly numbers increased on a low base of the year ago period. Retail sales in China and North America as well have steadily increased over the last 4 months. Today, however, the stock price is down in trade, 2% gone. And Pranay, Tata Power, big upgrade from Macquarie. What are the reasons they are citing?
Well, the key reason that they're citing, Mubina, is that they expect a resolution in the tariff of their Mundra power plant over the next couple of quarters, and the price has reached attractive levels. Though the target has been trimmed a little from the earlier 83 to 76 in near term, they believe that it is very well poised at the current levels. Valuations also looking good, and expecting a positive announcement on the Mundra tariff resolution in the next couple of quarters. They believe that it's a buy in the power space.
Okay, 54.3, but the stock price not really reacting to that upgrade. It's down, I suppose, in line with the weakness seen in the markets. And is that the case, Vivek, even with Z Entertainment today?
Well, that's right. So what JP Morgan has done is they've actually come out and upped their target price a little bit. However, you have to read between the lines. What they're saying is that a lot of concerns remain as far as the cash flow of the entire group is concerned. And also what they're saying is that until and unless the balance sheet profile doesn't really improve, they believe there could be further weakness. On the back of that, have a look at Z today, have a look at Dish TV. All of them are tanking in today's trading session.
Well, yeah, 4.5% gone for Z Entertainment in trade. Amar, Bata India this week has had quite a run. A nice uptick seen today as well, just about 0.35%. What's your view here? Can this continue?
Yeah, Bata is definitely very strong on the long-term chart. So what we've been witnessing over the past few trading sessions is that it was in consolidation, and now it has breached that crucial resistance zone of 1665, 1670. So ideally, now that becomes a very strong support zone. Whereas on the upside, resistance is around 1765 odd levels. So yes, Bata is definitely a buy. Any dip should be used as a buying opportunity, as the long-term trend remains extremely strong for this stock.
All right, so quite optimistic on the stock price of Bata India. It is gaining with mild move seen today as well. And Pranay, Yes Bank, the stock as we speak has tanked significantly.
And the reason for that is perhaps the Moody's downgrade coming in on the counter. They have now lowered their rating to B2 from the earlier BA3 on funding concerns, primarily, hinting at the challenges that they are seeing in the capital raise, which is aimed to be about $2 billion, and some investors not being so well known or having such a great track record. So therefore, the outlook, according to them, remains negative on the bank till the funding concerns ease.
Okay, so they continue to have a negative outlook and unsurprisingly 8.4% gone for this stock today in trade. Vivek, Indigo, yesterday we saw big problems occur because of the Pratt & Whitney engine and then in turn them leading to announcing a capacity cut. However, I think it's yet another day that we have seen an engine problem occur for Indigo. How serious is it this time?
Well, Mubina, along with these problems, which has actually gone ahead and forced the company as well as the management to go ahead and tell both the exchanges, the analysts in a presentation yesterday, that they were forced to cut their growth guidance. So earlier, the growth guidance was first cut when you're talking about the conference call with the analysts after the Q2 numbers. Yesterday, again, one more cut has come. So two capacity guidance cuts coming in as far as Indigo is concerned. A lot of brokerages have reacted to that. They believe that both growth as well as cost headwinds. Also remember, given the hedging policy of the company, you could see significant amount of EPS cuts coming in. So overall, a lot of them are being quite cautious as far as the entire space is concerned.
Okay, but with that, we'll have to wrap it up. So Amar, Vivek and Pranay, thank you so much for joining us on Market Fatafat. Coming up next is Markets at Noon.